Contaré la historia de una famosa persona. Todos la conocen con el apodo de Chona.
¡Yeah, 40!
Con el apodo de Chona. Su marido dice ya no sé qué hacer con ella. Diario van los bailes y se compra
¿Qué tienes, pues?
y se compra una botella. Se arranca en la banda con la primera canción.
Good evening. I'll be playing intros in just a second, but I'm just going to say hi to people as my Streamlabs updates its view count because there's no way 0 people are watching. The YouTube tab says 5, so now it says 6. Okay, there we go. No, it's 6 on the Streamlabs tab. But JV Stylist, hey, how you doing, JV? Welcome. Colin with the fire already. I didn't even start yet. You come at me with fire. You know when it says I start at 8, it means I start at 8, right? Not at 7:44, whatever time you posted that. It's not right, Colin. Thought you're my friend, but we're enemies now, so screw it. Value Law and joining Colin with the racism, with the emojis, of course. My good friend Master Panda. He's the only one on my side. You know, I have a DM group, and my DM group is the only DM group created by a creator where all the people in it harass him on a daily basis. I post links in there, and they don't share it. They say all kinds of wicked stuff about me. It's abusive in there. It really is. But I got to fight the fight because we're fighting a culture war. Not with those emojis, though. We're not fighting culture wars with those culture war, never mind. Link says, Comic Talk, even though half the show is intro videos and allows me reading every single comment before he talks about the main subject, but I guess it's better than nothing. I'm always better than nothing. Link, I'm a human being. Just like my friend Bear, who asks, how's it going? Hell Valley Law, how you doing? Mom, my good friend Felsbug, yes. I'm getting to the intros in just a second. Just want to quickly say hi to people because we know how this works with the Streamlabs where it doesn't really get me to highlight comments during the intros. I'm going to be debuting Burkaman's theme for the streams now. He did a theme for our indie comic Outliers. I haven't put it up yet because I haven't edited it. I still haven't edited the video for it yet. So I'm going to just play his version so that at least he knows, Burkaman, I got you, my friend. I got you. But first, you know how we do it with our girl, Taylor Swift.
You stole my heart, you intercepted it. Now you're gone, have to accept it. Did I meet your mom too soon? Or did I do what I always do? Yeah, we made it to the 50, and then you kissed me. We made it to the 40, a new love story. We made it to the 30, and you did me dirty right then. You put the end in tight end. Touched down, just like you in a game. I'm in another town, and nothing feels the same. Wish I could go back when we met that day. Oh, whoa, and throw a flag on the play. If all of the kings had their queens on the throne, we would pop champagne and raise a toast. So waiting to all of the queens who are fighting alone, baby, you're not dancing on your own. Let's go. Without me, you wanna, but you can't. Nah. Think it's funny, but honey, can't run the show on your own. I can feel my body shake. There's only so much I can take. I'll show you how a real queen behaves. No damsel in
queen and I'm just lucky to get close to the throne. I'm not worthy, but she's taking me home. Yeah. Now damsel in distress, don't need a savior. She's a goddess, I would never try to change her. She knows she got my world inside of her palm, but she can have whatever she wants.
All the kings had their queens on the throne. We would pop champagne and raise a toast to all the queens who are fighting alone. Baby, you're not dancing on your own.
Let's go. I'm a queen, I'm a boss, I'm a brat. Hella independent, I get this, I get that. Shout out to the girls from the burp to the trap. I don't need a man for shit, put myself on the map. Oh, and they thought I was done. I ain't even hit my peak and I'm still on the run. I'm like Lolo on the laps, how I'm running the track. Only time I see it L's in a luxury tax. And my whole team when they post a pic just because they're like, oh, she chillin'. $1,000,000 deals and my lipstick still it. I need acrylic nails, I don't need no critics. So Witty gon' glow, so Witty gon' shine. Circle full of tens, I don't see no nines. My name on they lips, my name on they mind. How I take it from the block to the Hollywood sign.
All the kings had their queens on the throne. We would pop champagne and raise a toast to all the queens who are fighting alone. Baby, you're not dancing on your own.
Okay, we're gonna debut. I said it with a T. Before I bring my guest on, we're gonna debut Burkerman's theme song for the shows going forward. Here we go.
Deep in the inky graveyard, dark as the night, there among forgotten pencils, a duck takes flight. Alice not the history duck tells us forgotten tales about creators long lost in a cabinet frail. He's been putting in a mile of research. He quacked up every flock perch. This Irishman aggressively knows his stuff. He's here to share the truth without a bluff. Duckman, oh Duckman, extolling the dead. Duckman, oh Duckman, what's got in your head? Simmons, Emerson, Painter, and Ray, ancient artists surviving off of vodka and Ben Gay. Alice Mack, duck of the Indies, Malin's favorite effect. He knowledge of comics far off the old rap. He swims out of the lanes to find hidden bayous, strange creators, and obscure dull new. Duckman, oh Duckman, extolling the dead. Duckman, oh Duckman, what's got in your head? Simmons, Emerson, Painter, and Ray, ancient artists surviving off of vodka and Ben Gay. So hang with the quackers deep in the comic graves. See Alice Matt's treasures, the sort that he craves. Do you know about these guys and do you care? A Duck Lord is willing and he's got plenty to share. Duckman, oh Duckman, extolling the dead. Duckman, oh Duckman, what's got in your head? Simmons, Emerson, Painter, and Ray, ancient artists surviving off of vodka and Ben Gay. Alice Matt should be quack congratulated. Do not mallard shun. He's busy peeking into the facts. Don't wig in him while he's hunting for snacks. For snacks. Duckman, oh Duckman, extolling the dead. Duckman, oh Duckman, what's got in your head? Simmons, Emerson, Painter, and Ray, ancient artists surviving off of vodka and Ben Gay. Alice Mack to be quack gratulated. Do not mallard shun. He's busy peeking into the facts. Don't wig in him while he's hunting for snacks. Duckman, oh Duckman, extolling the dead. Duckman, oh Duckman, what's got in your head? Simmons, Emerson, Painter, and Ray, ancient artists surviving off of vodka and Ben Gay.
I don't think I did a good job vetting that song. I didn't know it was that racist. That's extremely racist. It's a very terribly racist. Now that I think about it, it's a terribly racist song. I gave that man Birkenman my confidence, Helmut. Why did he betray me like that?
I don't know what you have. It's a beautiful song.
No, he used a lot of the words he's not supposed to be using.
Like duck?
Don't say it. Come on. I'm not trying to. I'm not bracing. Colin, I'm not. I swear on Allah, I'm not embracing anything. I absolutely am not. Don't put that on me or my good friend Helmut, who's here as a guest here. So please don't put that on any of us. We're not with that evil. Totally not.
I'm innocent. I'm only a German.
You were just following orders, right?
I was in the resistance, my friend.
Oh. Different kind of stream. Okay. Mazapan says that queen don't need to save me. That girl being described in the Song of Songs like an absolute headache. And that's why I edited the video as I did, Mazapan. That's why I did. Everybody else in the chat. I said hi to everybody. So we're going right into it. Now, for those of you that know, I am currently doing a documentary on Comicsgate, which is or was, or depending on your point of view, an independent comic book movement. My deliciously good friend, not my good friend, our object of desire, Georgina Floyd. She takes my breath away every time she comes in chat. So every time. So I can't. I have to stop what I'm doing because I get choked up when I don't say hi to my good girlfriend, Georgina Floyd. So I must do that. I lost my train of thought. Shit, where was I? Oh yeah. So those of you know, I am doing a Comicsgate documentary. It's in 4 parts. Then the 4th part will be uploaded with the rest of the 3 parts with new footage to make one long video for posterity purposes. Posterity, I should say. But I figured, you know what? All the discussions I've had on this stream about independent artists in the prior 2 movements, and I'm like, maybe we need to do some streams about the movements themselves just to learn lessons from it and understand its significance, its importance. So I decided that today we're going to be talking. It may not even be one stream. It may be a couple, but we'll be doing some going over of the underground comics movement. And I've talked about it with creators like Gilbert Shelton and Spain Rodriguez. Although I didn't really go over Spain Rodriguez, but I will at some point. Maybe not, because he's a pretty good artist. But yeah, quite a few creators that I've discussed that were part of that underground comics movement. But I didn't really go fully into the movements themselves. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to go over those and just to learn some lessons and understand how and why they were significant. Here's a spoiler alert. They weren't fighting with each other. Colin says, what's up? What?
I laughed.
Well, we need to hear you laugh, because if it's just my voice, I'll get bored very fast. Colin, this is a false statement. I want Colin banned from the chat. He's no longer allowed to promote his stuff anymore. Just for that. But what is the underground comics movement? Well, the underground comics movement, the first independent comic book movement, started off much like Comicsgate did. It started off as a reaction to the comic book mainstream, specifically the Comics Code Authority. Do you know what the Comics Code Authority is, right, Helmut?
Yes, I heard about that.
Okay, so for those that don't know, that are too young to know, the Comics Code Authority it still is. It's kind of like a rating system for comics. It keeps comics from going fully into the violence realm or the porn realm. So they regulate what you can and cannot put into a comic book. Otherwise, you don't get to be published by the major publishers. You don't get to be distributed in the comic shops or stores at the time. So that was the purpose of the Comics Code Authority. Well, there was a group of artists and creators that were like, no, nuts to that. So they started making their own comics. They started producing their own independent comics. And these comics had their abundance of violence and sex and drugs and all the other crazy stuff. You know, it was a counterculture movement. And it was a direct reaction to the underground comics, not the underground, the Comics Code Authority. And hence we have what's called the underground comics movement. And let me share a screen for a second so that I don't remember this. But one thing that I have not talked about, did you just sigh on me?
No.
Did you just sigh? Look, I don't care if I sound boring, Helmut. I'm going to get through this.
Hey, it's Christmas. You should dial back your anger and your hate.
How can I? It's a white Christmas. I have nothing but hate. I mean, hail to my white people out there. Merry Christmas. Lady Shaban said hail to the chat. She's driving. Please get home
Hello.
safe, baby. I'm waiting for you. Uh, Flip City Mag says cool info. Hello, Flip City. I've seen you around in Dark Gifts chat. Welcome here. Hopefully you'll be a fixture here as we talk about. I know we talk about independent artists, but I've decided for the next couple of streams to talk about the independent comic movements of yesteryear. So beginning with the underground comics movement. Now, if you notice, the comic is spelled with an X, right? At the end? That was deliberate because that was in reference to the fact that the comics that were part of that independent movement featured a lot of abundant sex, some cases graphic. So they were, they were considered pornographic, hence the X. So that's what that is about. Now, a lot of what they considered graphic then is pretty tame by today's standards, but make no mistake, it was a reactionary to what was considered censored comics back in the mainstream. Now let me ask you, Helmet. Do you think that the Comics Code Authority did good for the mainstream? I'll give you my thoughts, and then I want to hear your thoughts. But my thoughts is that it gave the writers in the mainstream some creativity on how to navigate certain themes and certain how characters operated. So in a way, like I thought it was a good thing in that it made these comics accessible to kids and it was part of the mainstream zeitgeist. And not to mention the fact that it did give us a counterculture, so it gave us more alternatives. But what do you think?
Kind of. You can say this code of conduct sparked the counter movement of the underground comics, and without it, it wouldn't happen. So it did good in that sense, but censorship is never right, in my honest opinion.
See, I think censorship with reason is okay. Like for example, any entertainment that exploits kids should be censored the fuck out of our planet. That's what I think.
Yeah, okay, but that's an extreme example
Well, can
who
we agree to
everybody
censor?
agrees with.
Can we agree to censor Dark Gift? Let's censor him.
Oh, I have no problem with that.
Yes, see, we agree. Okay, see, censorship is good. Absolutely. Yes. So, okay, so that brings up another conversation for another day about the censorship argument. But there are pros and cons to this. I'm adult enough to admit that yes, there are pros and cons to this. So, now one of the stewards of the underground comics movements was Robert Crumb, and I've not done a stream on him yet, but he's pretty much like one of the obvious people I should have done a stream on. So we agree you should be censored. You should see just for that. The WTF? There's no cussing in my chat, Dark Gift. There's no cursing in my chat. You need to be censored.
Drugs are bad.
Totally censored. Because I have young people watching my stream, Helmut, and he's cursing in my chat.
What do you mean with young people?
What? What's up?
What do you mean with young people?
People that are like they watch my streams because they're obviously into comics, and I want to maintain a proper image and proper ethics. But he wants to come in here and he's putting these initials. We know what these initials mean. He's already cursing my stream. Censorship is good sometimes.
That's a fickle topic.
There's no cursing in the chat, and yet the show is most. Hey, Colin, I don't have time for your semantics. Semantics is not welcome here. Henry Rubin says no cussing. Well, shit. See, we agree. The F was for again with the semantics. See, you want to be semantical? We could be semantical. I'll get all semantical. No kids in the chat. This is an adult stream. Flip City. This is an adult stream. No kids allowed. We talk mature stuff here. Mazapana says I think Milestone Comics was tripping when they got mad that the editors didn't want them to release a cover with their two heroes making out on a couch with a box of condoms. No common sense. Oh wait, what? We should look into that. Milestone was tripping. Okay. Wait, when the editors didn't want them to release a cover. Well, you know what? Yeah, I mean, again, like I said, there's an argument for it and against it, but I agree with Massive Pan. I think it is kind of silly that they got mad that they didn't want to release that kind of cover. You know.
There's a
So
famous quote of Eric Bischoff, the guy who ran WCW in the 90s. He said, "Controversy creates cash," and I think that's also right in the comic sense.
yeah, Eric Bischoff was very smart with WCW. Unfortunately, he ran into problems with the creative control and certain wrestlers that didn't want to go along with his program.
Yeah, the
But yeah,
famous quote, "That doesn't work for me, brother."
that was Hulk Hogan. We know that.
Yes.
Wait, parents make their kids watch Alas, which is punishment. Well, they should be punished. How about that? How about they should be punished? Run amok and try to run society and torture buildings and become part of BLM. They should be punished. But
you
I
you
mean,
you are kind of in a Krampus mode pre-Christmas.
I see what you did there. No, I come in here, Helmut, and I want to have fun, but I can't because the chat comes in here with their fire and their vitriol. Like this guy right here says he hasn't even 2 weeks much. How much more censorship do you want? 2 weeks is not enough. 2 weeks is not enough. Dark Gift. Quantum Age is here. Formerly Hexalon Comics. He's not Quantum Age. Crumb is a misunderstood genius. His brother too. Oh, if you ever see the documentary, the Arkham documentary, every time I watch that documentary, if you're an artist and you ever get into a creative rut and you need inspiration, watch that documentary because like every few minutes he's talking about him drawing and you see him drawing and goes into inspiration and it just reinvigorates your love for drawing. So I agree. He's some kind of misunderstood genius. He's a weirdo, but he's a genius for sure. Even Philsbug has something to say about it. The Arkham documentary scared the crap out of me because because of it, I never did drugs. Well, there you go. That is it has societal significance. So totally, that was a great film. Says Quantum Age Comics. You ask a lot for a DED duck. I don't ask enough. I need recompense. I need what do they call that? Reparations. I need lots of reparations. Totally. So what we're looking at is Zap Comics. Zap Comics was the first magazine / anthology style comic that was representative of the underground comics movement. So what that means is this. So R. Crumb, when he started self-publishing, he did Zap Comics. He would do a series of short comics and artwork that was for the sake of promoting himself. But then he started asking other artists to contribute, and it became a vehicle for the underground comics movement. And I'm jumping ahead a little bit, so let me just go backwards a bit. But one of the staples of the underground comics movement was when R. Crumb, and R. Crumb talks about it in this book, which I want to get. It's a book called Comics, and Graphic Novels, a history of the comic art. So I think it's on page 92. Let me look for it right now. Let me just scroll over it. It's a quote that is a tribute. Wait, that's too fast. Not 248, 92. Let's see. It won't let me go to page 92. I have to manually go there, Helmut. It's not right. I just want to tell stories.
And
92. I'm on page 87. Here we go. No. Okay. Never mind. Okay. Well, it won't let me. But in page 92, he talked about the freedom to make whatever kind of comics he wanted. And that was one of the staples of the creators of the underground comics movement. Their freedom to make whatever comics they wanted. They weren't hindered by the underground. Not the underground. I keep saying underground. The Comics Code Authority. Dark blaming the black man. Always blaming the black man. Every time. But it's okay. We documented it now, so now you can't hide behind it. San Francisco has never been tolerable. I agree. Never been. So I tried, Darkest. I tried. Okay, leave me alone. Every time, like the codes can never get anything right with you people ever. I was trying to show a virtual book, but it wasn't cooperating. So take my word for it. Just trust me, bro. Just trust me, please. I mean well. And if you don't think I mean well, I don't know what to tell you. But yeah, Arkham talked about the freedom to make whatever they wanted. But before the underground comics movement, there was a series of comics called Tijuana Bibles. Are you familiar with that, Helmut? The Tijuana Bible.
Yeah, it's smutty grindhouse-esque little books.
Yeah, so these are like little books that were done in the underground, and they were, as Helmut would say, smutty. They were, sexual in nature, and they were just passed around. They weren't stuff that was sold in stores. Like they had to be passed around, or uh, underground places would sell them on the down low. So this predated the underground. So you can say this was probably the first true set of reactionary independent comics. Were they socially relevant? Mm, you could argue they were just smutty and they were just there to fulfill a tangential, a big word. They were there to fill some kind of carnal need, you could say. Entertaining maybe, but they were definitely there to fill some kind of carnal need. Man, I like the fact that the chat appears in the lower left of the screen. Even though
I
it's close.
think those little books were complementing the whole underground scene as a whole, because you
Yeah,
found
and
them
Henry.
in underground clubs and
Mhm.
tattoo parlors and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And Henry Beavis is right. You can still find them online. Like eBay, they does have them online. As a matter of fact, let's look at some on eBay. Let's take a look here. So, but yeah, they were a thing, and they're only socially relevant now because they represent a segment of history in terms of comic books. And I think it's good to kind of. Now, I'm not saying you have to like these things, and we're going to show this here. For example, this is an example of a 1930s Tijuana Bible. So these Tijuana Bibles were around for a long time. This is from the 1930s. This right here, and again, this was a reactionary. Much like Comicsgate was a reaction to the mainstream practices, um, whatever they were. Like I mean, the practices themselves were different, but it's the three indie comic book movements were all reactionary movements to what the mainstream was doing. So it's funny that eBay's showing the nudity here, but yeah, I'm actually okay. Let me. Ooh, let's get out of here. There we go. Okay, so you can
Yeah,
see from my carelessness, you could see that yeah, these comics didn't play around. They were very free in what they were showing. Crumb
but
isn't warped. He's more normal than most comic artists. He loved his wife and daughter and created art.
I can't say anything against Robert Crumb. I have the same taste in woman as him.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, listen, uh, his taste in women. I mean, we can all get behind that. No pun intended. But no, Crumb was definitely like you see his artwork and you think of somebody who's kind of perverted. You think of somebody who's sex minded, but he did have a method and style to his artwork, and he talks about it in the documentary when you see him drawing. He talks, especially like when he's talking about like the backgrounds when he draws the buildings and neighborhoods. It's like you really start to understand that there's a creative mind behind that man, and he is artistically inspired by the world around him. So that's what I said. Like if you're an artist and you go through a creative rut, watch that documentary, and it will influence you, inspire you to grab a pen and start drawing.
And to in his defense and in the defense of those Tijuana Bibles, the target audience were adults, not
Yes,
children.
correct, correct. These were definitely handed to adults, and if any, well, no kid should have ever had these. But let's be honest, like 12 and 13-year-olds, I'm sure got their hands on these things. So we're not going to pretend that didn't happen. I'm sure it did happen, you know, but they were not geared towards kids 100%. So, um, and we do stress that um, there should be some kind of responsibility with our comics and how they're distributed. But we go back to R. Crumb and Zap Comics now. R. Crumb, how did R. Crumb get his start? Well, he got started with uh, doing cards for this company called Highbrow Line, and he was in Cleveland, Ohio. American Greeting. Okay, no, I'm sorry. It was American Greetings where he was doing these cards, and he was stationed out of Cleveland, Ohio. So it's funny how Ohio is the hub for independent comics. But he started there, and why is that significant? Because how often have we heard that? Oh, you got to be a pro to make comics. You got to be working in the big two to make comics. Well, you could be like
I,
our
I
Crumb and
heard
just get
that.
your
I
start.
heard that those statements a few weeks ago.
I've heard it a few days ago, and
Yeah, it's a recurring sentiment from certain people.
Well, the reason why I'm doing this is because we want to really like drive the point home that independent comics are relying upon people in our communities who probably would never be able, for one reason or another, step foot in the comic industry, and yet still be able to pick up a pen, put it to paper, create something, and make something of influence and significance, and never step foot in the big two or in the mainstream industry. That is the power and the significance of these underground comic book movements. And with regards to this one, the underground comics movement, all of the significant people did not have their start in the mainstream comic industry. They had their start doing artwork on the side for public, newspapers, or in this case, greeting cards. Lincoln Fish said, yeah, they were sold in head shops, if you're referring to the Tijuana Bibles. Crumb is the most normal member of his family. His mom was nuts too. His brother committed unalived himself. I can't say the S word because, well, I mean, I'm not monetized. I can say it. Yeah, R. Crumb's brother had committed suicide. He was fighting a major bout of depression, and they covered that in the documentary. So, it was tragic. It was on Tubi a while ago, but it's probably gone by now. Very interesting watch. Oh, I can find a way to watch it. There's ways to get movies. So
If you
trust me.
find it, let me know because I'm interested too.
Oh, okay. Well, I will reach out to you after the stream. Mass Panda says you do have to be in the big two to make comics. If the comics you want to make are filled with stiff artwork and political campaign slogans, well, that is true, Mass Panda. That there's no dispute. That there is no dispute. So yes, Colin says not all in the art in mainstream is stiff. It's just stiff, stifled by bad writing. Current mainstream is not good, but the mainstream as a whole has given us good things. We can't argue like the a lot of the great stuff that were given to us by George Perez, John Burns, um, I'm sorry, yeah, John Burns, John Romita. I met John Romita. All those guys have given us some great stuff.
Yes,
So
here's a controversy take from me. Wasn't it always that case? Because before the whole wokeness went into mainstream comics, the mainstream comics were already on the decline and were kind of shitty. The last shitty book I read before the whole wokeness turned it more into shit was Civil War, and that was shit. It was a shitty story, written shitty art, and it had nothing to do with wokeness.
that's a good point. Yeah, I will say, like, especially in the early 2000s, after Kingdom Come, there weren't that many like influential comics that people were talking about, and it wasn't like you said, it wasn't due to wokeness. It was just bad writing. So yeah, that's a good point, and that's probably something that could be discussed like on another day, another stream, because going into like really what these comics were doing prior to like 2014 when things started to get really woke, it might shed light on how bad things were even before like the current turn to the milkshake people, the milkshake girls. Colin says mainstream comics went on decline in the 90s due to the collector's bubble and had bad management. Yeah, yeah. So, Ahmed, what do you think about the collector's bubble? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
The thing is, it's good to have collectors in the space because it brings money into it. On the downside, the companies, the big ones, always misuse their popularity and their newfound funds from those guys and overproduce and do one alternative cover after another, and that crashed the whole bubble.
Yeah, I think a lot of people even today kind of overestimate the secondary market. So I kind of believe that.
The
Colin
funny
says,
thing is,
yeah.
oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. I don't.
The funny thing is, it's they have that in common with the trading card scene.
That's a good point.
They reprint stuff into the ground. There's no value, and trading cards as also comics were meant to be used, to be read,
Yes,
to be played.
consume. That's it. You're right.
Yeah,
100%. Like I consume my shit. I don't put it in a plastic bag and keep it stored. I take it out. I read it, and that's it. It's like I want to indulge in it. I don't care about if because there's no guarantee it'll have any value in the aftermarket down the road.
Yeah, this whole grading stuff, I don't understand. Why seal away a comic that you can read anytime?
Yeah, I agree.
Doesn't make sense,
Colin says,
Desmond.
if my dogs are barking, Colin says, why are so many indies trying to emulate the 90s, referring to like why comics haven't been good? And that's why I hate modern indie comics as a whole. Like there's individual ones that are good, but like most of them do emulate that Rob Liefeld look. And like I don't like that. I don't like it. It's boring.
I have the feeling lots of artists in the indie space have a parasocial relationship with Image Comics from the 90s.
It's funny you bring up parasocial because one of the things that was not prevalent in the prior to indie comic movements was a parasocial relationship. And I think that's one of the things
Which
that's
was
really
good.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that's played Comicsgate is a parasocial relationship or nature that has done more to probably damage it than anything. That's a whole other conversation. But
I think it mutated in more than a parasocial relationship. It's more kind of a sect and a cult right now. It's like Mormonism meets Scientology. It's total brainwash. Sorry, but it's the truth.
No. I'm not saying you're wrong. It does come off that way. It really does. I'm not going to try to talk too much about the documentary I'm making because I want to let that be the last one on anything I say about it. But I think a lot of what we could have learned from the underground comics movement and the alternative comics movement, we're not learning. And heck, what we should be learning from manga, we're not learning because a lot of manga success is similar to these prior independent movements. So, but Colin wants to issue an apology on behalf of Michael Bendis. Colin, you're forgiven. So
yes,
I forgive you. Henry Beeman says, "I understand a lot of 90 books weren't great, but it was the last era that brought in lifelong fans." That is true. It is. Yeah, like look, I don't hate 90s comics. Some of the 90s comics were good. Like some of them were very influential. And I think the reason why a lot of people look down on it is because it was the last great innovative decade of comics before things kind of went downhill. So it's like a double-edged sword when it comes to that. Massive Panda says, I bought some bologna from the... I don't care about the... Okay, Massive, you're my boy. Right? You're my corner. But we're talking comics, not your delivery itemization list. Oh, wait, he's talking about CGC. He says he had to slab it and then display it on his shelf. It's going to be worth a ton of money, about 20 years. Oh, he sent his grocery food to the CGC.
Imagine the smell after a few years.
Oh, man. Just so people know, I didn't encourage Massive Panda to do that. So please don't put that evil upon me. I did not do that. Anyway, so Krom was doing greeting cards, and he was ultimately unhappy with it because he wanted to do more. So then he met a group of people, and together they started to do their own, comic books. And there was the Harvey Kurtzman. He had he printed some of Crumb stuff in a magazine called Help. Help was a Kurtzman's magazine, and Crumb got some of his earlier stuff printed there. Then he moved to New York and he started his own magazine. Before that, he was doing stuff for Topps trading cards. And then he started his magazine, Zap Comics. The first few issues of Zap was just his stuff, more like promotional stuff for himself. But then he started getting other artists involved. He started incorporating them in there. And Zap was like the first. It was in some ways like Wizard Comics, but a combination of Wizard and heavy metal. But it was for artists that were part of that underground comics movement. So it was a showcase for them.
I always saw them as a more sophisticated Mad magazine.
That too, yeah. That Mad, Mad magazine had many artists that came from this period. Because a lot of people from that magazine, from the underground comics movement, did work for Mad magazine. Which is funny because Mad magazine, I believe it's an offshoot of DC, like DC Comics. I think if not, it's owned by the same people that own DC Comics. So In some ways, it is very mainstream, but not mainstream enough that it relied on the Comics Code Authority to produce its work. So, um, but yeah, so definitely that was a lot of the artists that worked on this magazine. And there was a Supreme Court case in 1973. I don't know if you know about it, but let me see. What is it? It was Miller versus California. So why is this significant? Well, Miller versus California ruled that obscenity was not protected under the First Amendment. So every state has a law on what they define as obscene versus what is considered art. So on each state's own grounds, if something was declared obscene, it didn't get First Amendment protection. So that was important because that affected a lot of the comics that were being produced. And by comics, I mean like the independent comics that were produced at that time. Each state, therefore, determined if it was considered pornographic, it would be considered not worthy of First Amendment protection, and therefore it could be suppressed or even banned outright in those states. Um, so that was Miller versus California. If you guys want to look it up on your own, but it is a significant event when it comes to comic book history. It's important to understand these things because it helps you to really appreciate the development and the evolution of comics, independent comics specifically, since many of us are part of an independent scene, and it's important to understand these things that transpired prior to where we are right now. Guidance was Mike is kind of. Am I low, Helmut? Do I sound low?
I hear you pretty good.
Okay, well, I don't know. Well, Guy in his room. Here's the thing. Guy in his room is in my DM group, right? In my DM group, I have people in my DM group, and like every creator, I create a DM group for people to show my stuff, promote my stuff. Well, in my DM group, for some reason, the people in that DM group every day abuse the shit out of me. They say all kinds of wicked stuff about me. They disrespect me. They don't share my links. I post links in that group and they don't share it. Instead, they talk about what piece of crap I am, and they come after me and they gaslight me. I mean, Guy in his room is one of the most important people in my DM group, and I appreciate his interactions, his contributions, and he does a great job. So he's definitely a good and most important member of this community. So I'm not trying, Link. I am. I just am. So I don't have to try. Oh, now he says it's okay. It's been okay, Guy in his room. It's been okay, but I understand you're my mortal enemy, so I get it. I totally get it. So, what the heck was I on? Oh yeah, I was talking about the underground comics movement. We got into a little bit about the Tijuana Bibles, and share this here. What the heck is it? Let me find the link so I can continue talking about it. But yeah, one of the drawbacks of the independent comics movement was again I mentioned they don't censor themselves when it comes to like the sexual stuff. So a lot of the sexual stuff can be kind of lowbrow and maybe not to many people's taste, I should say. But you look at it to appreciate the art styles and what it led to. And again, I mentioned Arkham being the obvious one, but some of the guys that I've covered in these streams include Gilbert Shelton and Gary Panther was part of the punk sector of that movement. And he was more prolific in the 80s. So I think that being more tied to the alternative comics movement. But in that movement, there was the punk scene, which is what Gary Panther was a part of. I talked about Gary Panther a little bit. But one of the things that helped make the underground comics movement successful was they had a lot of access to shops that normally wouldn't carry comics, so they kept their identities and their IPs alive by going to certain kinds of shops, known as head shops. I think somebody in the chat already talked about it. What is a head shop? Well, a head shop is a retail shop that specializes in the term would be paraphernalia, but we know what that means. We're talking about like hemp, bongs, we call them Mary Janes. So places in the 60s that sold Mary Janes is where you would find a lot of these underground comics. So it's where, and that explains why they were so popular, because the artwork, the art style was very psychedelic, very how do you say, very out there. It's very dreamish, even nightmarish. So what better place to have those kind of comics than in the drug shop, or as we call them, pet shops? Because I don't know if YouTube will strike me for saying that, but anyway. But yeah, that was all part of the culture of the underground comics, was where they would sell them and how they would sell them. Let's see. Guy in his room says now they're open and just well seated in the cities. What does that mean? Where they're open?
I don't know.
Wait, what do you mean? Where's Carol? I'm trying to give a lecture link, and you're asking for Carol. Don't do that. Don't absolutely do. Carol harasses me and DMs every day in my DM group. I gave her special privileges to share my links and promote me and to express her admiration, and she just says some of the most vile shit to me every day. And like, you know how people get up in the mornings and they read their devotionals, or they'll get that Instagram post and try to be, feel good about themselves. Well, not me. I get up and Carol's already posting crap in the DM group and already telling me that I shouldn't live and all that stuff. It's horrific.
It's tough love.
It's not love at all. Colin says, Mary Jane's, why are they selling Spider-Man's wife? Because, I see what he did there. I see what he did there. He tried to get me, but no, you're not going to get me to fall for that, Colin. You knew what I meant. Somebody get this guy out of here right now. Get him out of here. So the head shops now don't have to pretend to not be about weed. I think it depends on which state, but yeah, that was the thing. Like, they had to keep their stuff in the back. So Barry Merrick, he says, Zippy the Pinhead and Mr. Natural. Welcome to the stream, Barry. Nice to have you aboard. I think this is his first time here in my stream, in my chat. I don't think I've seen him around on Twitter quite often in the last few years, but not on my chat. So maybe, just maybe, I have clout again. Maybe I'm gaining clout.
Slowly but steady.
Yes, slowly but steady. A good book to get, and I'm thinking about getting it, is in Fantagraphics. Fantagraphics produces some excellent books, but this is one of the books I have on the underground comics movement. Maverick and Lunatics, Icons of Underground Comics. So I'm going to look into this. As you can see, this is an example of some of the drug-induced imagery that was per that movement. High Time Magazine used to feature some of these strips. The information comes out. So more stuff to learn about when it comes to these movements. And the fact that they were simply about, I mean, it sounds cliche, but they really were about comics. They were about pushing and moving a creativity that was not found in the mainstream. It was less bickering, it was less clicks, and more just producing titles, producing artwork, and producing products that you could find. You can still find them today. In some cases, they're more prevalent than others. Others, you have to really like shell out some money. One of the stalwarts of that movement was Von Bodie. And I talked about Von Bodie in one of my other streams, but good luck finding decently priced copies of his Cheech Wizard magazines, because those you got to pull out a pretty penny for them. And I showed it in the streams I did with Von Bodie, where like you pay $13 for a 60-page book, and that's not a bad price to pay for it. But it just goes to show you how hard it is to find a decently put together, collection of his stuff, of Von Bodie stuff. And let me just show the chat what I'm talking about. So this right here, I gotta show my hideous face, but and you can see the my beautiful library. Now I have all my stuff centralized behind me, so I can just pull it out now, as opposed to, and I mean the books when I say pull it out, get your mouth out the gutter. But yeah, this is Cheech Wizard, my first volume, because it's a floppy, but yeah, this is an example of some of the styles of artwork. And this is from the, Von Bodie was from the UK. So the underground comics movement was very prevalent in the UK as well. We talk about, the States, the United States, but UK was very prolific with artists that were part of this movement as well. This thing cost me, I think, what, $15? I think $15-20 for this, for what amounts to a floppy size. But I'm telling you, look up Von Bodie's work for sale, and they go for as high as $200. I'm not joking, and it's amazing. But this is so with the Cheech Wizard and Von Bodie specifically, there's a danger of a lot of these works not being reproduced, and they can end up getting lost. So we can potentially see a loss of a lot of this stuff in our modern culture, in our comic culture. And I've learned in my own personal experience, especially with Comicsgate, is some of this art style is not looked upon with any fondness. They actually talk about it like it's a pile of crap. They talk about it like it's amateurish. And I know I want to hear your thoughts on this, Helmet, but I was surprised, and my style particularly has gotten better in the last few years. So I look back on like my first book, Street Champion, Road Warrior Drake, and I'm like, I get the urge to want to redraw it, but I can't, because if I redraw it, I lose that conversation. I lose that time and that sense of time where people were talking about the artwork in that book and whether or not it should exist or not. Just like this guy here, JD Kirby, who should not exist. You should not exist, pal. Disappear. Tell me to end my stream. I can do that. Wait, Potato Cam? What are you talking about? I'm trying to be. I mean, Helmet. We were good, Helmet. We were good. Please
Yeah,
don't
but
say that.
your camera quality is really, really shit.
Wait, am I not sharing the best quality? Hold on. It
No,
says
you look
1080.
like a bad Pornhub video.
Oh, because I'm in 480. Hold on. Let me bring it up a little bit. How about now?
Same.
How about now? Same. I put it to 1080. Hold on. Did it not go to 10? No, it did not. Oh, I'm not supported by the. Okay, how about there we go. How about now?
Worse.
It
I'm,
said
I'm not
720.
I'm not shitting you, Peanut Head. You look like shit.
I look like shit. Well, you know what? Eggs to you too. Eggs to you too. Anyway, I'm going to continue on because I'm extra spurgy tonight. No, I'm trying to teach. I'm trying to lecture, Bear. I'm trying to lecture. See, Barry says it's better. So I trust Barry. He says it's better. So if I don't move, it's okay. I can move. I'm a human being, guy. I'm an autonomous human being made in the image of God. I can do that. I can. Oh, F you, AOL style JD Kirby. F you. Oh, look. Oh, of course. Look who's here. Look who finally showed up.
Carol. You should really buy her coins, Elasmith.
Is it Bitcoin?
Carol coin.
Potato. I'm trying to talk about Von Bodie because this is an example of artwork that's going to get lost in time because you really can't find a lot of these reprinted now. What they do have available in the market, you got to go pay as high as $200 to get it. So, like, I don't have a big Von Bodie library because a lot of it's expensive to buy. Like, I talked about this in the Von Bodie stream. It's, like, amazing how a lot of this is not being reprinted. And it's a scary thing to know that a lot of, like, the independent comics of yesteryear are no longer going to be available because people don't believe in it. They don't believe it's worthy of preservation or having that conversation. And I get myself concerned with it because now it's like when someone like myself or you know, Dark Gift or Wenger or these people that have like a certain style of artwork, they come into the scene, they looked up, but hold on. They're looked down upon as what the hell are they doing? What kind of shit are they producing? I'm too uppity. Take him down a bit. No, Link. You're my guy, Link. You're my guy. Why are you betraying me in live time? Oh, wait. Looks like crap. Oh, wait. You're less blurry. Why does it look like terrible? We can see. I can't read that. But from what I'm gathering, you hate me. That's all. That's what I get from that. You hate me. It's okay. Feelings mutual. And the thing, I could talk comics with you people, but you're not taking me seriously. It's very clear. And I thought having Helmut.
Thank you.
I thought having Helmut on the stream would help. But I guess not. It doesn't help. Because all you see is color. Well, it's fine. Because I will overcome. Because guess what? I didn't just ride the back of the bus. I was born on the back of the bus.
Oh
I don't
God,
need to
not
cover my
not
face.
not you. Also, you with the Rosa Malin talk.
I'm the original Rosa Parks. I can prove it. Oh wait, Colin says a laugh is getting me nostalgic for my childhood sneaking onto Skype. Skype. You know Skype? Okay, granted, Talk Loud is shitty, but I'm not on Skype. Can you stream on Skype? I don't. Maybe I should try that. Maybe I should try that. I've got mail. Oh, I ain't open my DMs. I don't trust you, JD. I don't trust what you put in my DMs. You ain't gonna catch me on that one. They don't want you to show this comic. Oh. I get all glitchy. Wait a minute. Oh, you know what? Oh shit, you're right. Oh crap, it looks worse. How did this happen? Hold on. Let me try back on 480. Let's see. Okay, maybe if I stick with 480 resolution, it won't get as glitchy. Okay, yeah, I'm looking at it on the YouTube side. Oh crap, this is bad. This is bad. Okay, wait, let me switch the other camera. Let me go to the other camera. I think the other camera works better. So let's see. Okay, how's that?
Equally crappy.
Let me look at it from the. Oh, you're right. Yeah, this is a. Wow. Hold on. Let me bring it down to 720. How about now?
Worse.
Worse. How did it? Yeah, this is. Okay, back to 480. Back to 480. Here we go. Okay. How about now?
No.
Okay, I'm stopping my video. I don't care. The hell with you people. I was trying to be all entertaining and educational shit, but nobody appreciates me. It's fine. Wait, why can't I see anybody else here now? Hold on. Oh, maybe I should lower my. There we go. Okay. Okay, I tried. I really tried. But it meant something. It was trying something. Look, even Mike S. Moses is making fun of me. This is not right. I see it, Link. I see it. Leave me alone. I can that's how I grow. Okay, I guess for the streams going forward, I guess I'll have to do the. I can actually because I have my modem is right next to me now. I just realized I do have a modem next to me. Let me try that. I will experiment another day, but I do have the modem right next to me now, so I will go ahead and do the Ethernet thing next time and see if that works. This is screw you, Carol. Screw you. I'm kicking her out of my DM group. I'm gonna kick her out just for that. So stop laughing at me, guy. What are you laughing at? No, that is a resolution problem, Bear. Trust me, I am colored. I'm proud to be colored. You can't take that away. My ancestors are proud of me. They were chained to the boats when they came in here, and I am proud to be a part of that. You cannot take that away from me. I think that's what's happening, folks. I think MS Paint is hacking my router. That's why the resolution sucked there. But I'd rather my camera suck than the rest of the stream. So I will take that. I will take that. But my point being is that a lot of these comics from the 60s, the independent comics movement comics are currently, a lot of them are hard to find now. So like companies like Fantagraphics, they're doing a good job of compiling them together and making them available. And I will vouch for these hardcovers that Fantagraphics put. They put in some very beautiful hardcovers. Like I got the Popeye collections, volume 1 and 2, for example. I got the Basil Wolverton collection. I've covered Basil Wolverton previously. He's not a part of the underground comics movement. He predates it. His stuff is like more into the 40s and 50s. But they produce a lot of beautiful hardcovers and collections. So I would definitely, if you're a fan of these movements, of these indie comics, look at the Fantagraphics and their collections. They're very beautifully produced. Some of the most beautiful stuff that I've ever gotten. But yeah, as I stated before, the X in the comics was part of was because of the X-rated stuff that they put in there. X-rated for the time, but that was a staple of that movement and why the X is there. But the movement itself, I think, peaked. Well, a lot of people say it peaked in the late 60s to the early 70s, specifically 1968 to 1972. Very interesting time, I should say, if you understand the political and all the events that occurred during that time. But Zap Comics was the first magazine that was a staple of the underground comics movement. And then Zap, what did it lead to? I think it led to what was the movement that led to? I don't remember. I'll be looking into that quickly as I go over my notes. But I mentioned a lot of the artists that were part of Zap included Spain Rodriguez, Gilbert Shelton. I've talked about Gilbert Shelton. I mentioned that, among others, and S. Clay Wilson, Robert Williams, another artist that was part of that made their mark in Zap Comics as well.
What do you think of Ralph Bakshi, who did the Fritz the Cat movie and the Lord of the Rings movie cartoon?
Ralph, I have a love-hate relationship with Ralph Bakshi. By the way, Ralph Bakshi was an alumni of High School of Art and Design, which is where I graduated from for high school in Manhattan. So he's an alumni with that. And before I discuss that, Darren Merritt, he says, I'm older, so I saw some of those comics at record stores. Oh, yeah. So record stores was another place where some of these comics were available. So Fantagraphics didn't have Ed Piskor's back at the end. That's a touchy subject. So, yeah, that's a very touchy subject, Link. Very touchy subject. And when it came to Ed Piskor, a lot of people kind of abandoned him towards the end. And I'll be talking about Ed Piskor in my Comicsgate documentary because CG did not look good when it came to Ed Piskor. But that's
when did they look good in the last year?
Oh, no, well, I mean, yeah, I just mentioned Ed Piskor because it was brought up in the chat. But yeah, specifically when it came to Ed Piskor, no, CG did not look good, and I will be showing receipts on that. But anyway, damn, I lost my train of thought. What was I talking about before that?
You talked about the company, the comics company.
Right. What was my discuss? I got derailed for a second.
And Ralph Bakshi. We talked about.
Ralph Bakshi. Yeah, okay, yeah. So Ralph Bakshi. So, my opinion, Ralph Bakshi. So it's a love-hate relationship because movies like the Lord of the Rings and American Pop, like they relied way too heavily on the rotoscope, which to me visually kind of killed my enjoyment of some of these movies. But then he does movies like Wizards and
Fritz
Fire
the
and Ice.
Cat.
Although Fire and Ice relied heavily on rotoscope, but there were some visuals in Fire and Ice that I thought were pretty that I could appreciate today. And then like Wizards was entirely, you could tell it was inspired by Vaughn Bodie's Stitch Wizard, but it was to its merit and not its detriment. So I think Ralph Bakshi was an important person when it comes to animation, especially American animation. So I could appreciate his contributions, but specifically with Fritz the Cat, he did a good job in emulating the style, R. Crumb's visual style. But personally, I didn't enjoy it because I think he was just reveling in the fact that he could make a cartoon with a cat having his penis exposed most of the time. So I am not going to say that I thought that it was a good cartoon. It was a milestone in terms of American animation, but story-wise, to me, it was a one and done thing. That's what I'll say about that. But
the interesting part about Fritz the Cat is the relationship between Ralph Bakshi and Robert Crumb, which turned into hate after that.
R. Crumb disowned that movie.
Yeah, it's like Stephen King and Stanley Kubrick over The Shining. It's the same situation with that movie.
Yeah. Yeah, so for those that don't know, like the Bakshi animated Fritz the Cat was hated by R. Crumb. And I think he talked about it in the documentary too, like how much he hated that movie. But my dislike of the movie has little to do with Art Crumb. You guys may watch it and you may like it, and that's fine because again, it was significant in terms of animation in the states and as well as the movement, the underground comics movement, because it did give legitimacy. If it didn't have it already, it gave the underground comics movement legitimacy. So, Mass Panda says, "I appreciate your coverage of Episcore. Looking forward to the rest of your CG documentary series as well." Yeah, I appreciate that, and I think people are going to definitely learn a lot with the next two parts. CG has been a train wreck for 6 years. And one thing that I'll say about like when it comes to CG, people have the different perspectives on when it became a train wreck. So all I'll say on my end is I think I've been very tolerant of a lot of it, and maybe to my detriment. I don't know, but I think it's so obvious now that nobody can deny it. Well, some will, but anyway, I mean, I will answer from my own perspectives in terms of when it became a train wreck. So and I've talked to some people behind the scenes about it, and when I should have said something and I didn't, so I will own that. I will own that, but it doesn't take away the good that did come out of it. There were a lot of creators that believed in the theme of it and what it stood for, and did try to put out good work, but unfortunately it gets overshadowed by the gay ops and all the crap that uh, the documentaries, and I say documentaries because it's not just mine, but Mikey No More did his documentary, and I think a lot more people are going to be coming out with theirs soon, which they should, because there's a lot of people that
Lore.
have voices that can lend credence to what CG should have been and what it didn't turn out to be. So
The interesting thing is not even what happened on the forefront. It's what happened in the back rooms and in the private conversations. And I remember we had a lot of private discussions about the way that CG went, even before everything escalated into a dumpster fire. I know exactly that we had fierce discussions
yeah, oh yeah,
about
there
some
definitely
things.
with those discussions happening, and unfortunately, a lot of us were told that those discussions were being held by people that were anti CG, and that became a stigma. But a lot of people that I consider cool are people that were considered quote unquote anti CG, and it's like maybe we should have listened. Maybe we should have listened. Guynism says, "What is rotoscope?" Rotoscope. Okay, so rotoscope is what Ralph actually did was he would actually film live actors, and then he would give those footages, those clips to his team of animators, and they would trace each frame. So that's why when you see a Ralph Bakshi animated movie, it looks like very smooth. It's because they were actually shot in live action, and then the animators would trace over it and animate it frame by frame. So Bat Sauce in the chat, hail Bat Sauce. He says, "Hey," as in a stack of hay. Needle in a haystack. Link says he killed Fritz the cat for a reason. Yeah, he did. Yeah. Um, Massive Panda says, "I can't remember how many books I'm still waiting on to get fulfilled. I just don't even care anymore." And that is a sentiment. See, the thing is, like, there was a lot of care and anticipation with the underground comics movement, that when it was Comicsgate's turn to be a staple in the underground independent scene, it did not live up to a lot of those expectations, with people just leaving because they weren't getting their comics out on time. And a lot can be said for like with Tim Lim. Now he has a deal in Japan, and there's a shop in Japan that's going to carry the Common America books. Like, that's a big deal. That Tim Lim started out as an independent, a true independent. He started out as a fan of these comics, and he was one of the first to call out the BS. And I highlighted that in part one of my documentary, where he was going after the Mary Sue, rightfully so, I should say, and how the Mary Sue called him a white supremacist, and then he's like, hello, I'm Asian. How am I a white supremacist if I'm Asian? Hello. So, and he went from being a commentator to being a comic creator, and he created arguably one of the most significant independent series with Common America. He started out with Thump. Thump was the first one. Arguably, Thump could be considered the first Comicsgate book when you think about it. And the controversy that came about that, because of the fact that we shouldn't be making Trump books, and then 8 years later they're doing Trump covers, So it's like, hello, But he found success with Common America, and now Japan, the Japanese market is going to be publishing Common America over there in their shops. Good for him. He hustled. So
Kudos to Iconic Comics. They do the right thing.
I did not get a night letter. God, that is fake news. I am producing part 3. I did a lot of research for part 3 on some things. See, the thing is, my doc is not a smear story. It's meant to actually show what happened with receipts and teach some things, because I'm learning some things too. And it doesn't need CG doesn't need my help to make it look bad. It's just the things that happen, and it just the natural reaction is, well, that's not good. So it's not good at all.
Just to dip a little bit away from the CG talk, do you know Larry Elmore?
I do not, but please go ahead.
Larry Elmore was the main artist for the D&D books and did the whole fantasy art style. And
wait, okay, so was he that guy that was complaining about AI stealing his artwork, his art style?
could be the most famous thing that Larry Elmore did was the cover for the Hero Quest game.
Okay, all right.
And that's why I like the Lord of the Rings movie from Ralph Bakshi, because he used that kind of art that Larry Elmore did. And I was a huge fan of the old D&D books. I love the art.
Right. Yeah.
Maybe if you want to look into him, he has a lot of art books out there. I think you would like it.
Oh, I'm sure I would. If it has that kind of because you're referring specifically to like the background designs for like Fire and Ice, right? Like the fantasy background design. Yeah, I was just
the
thinking like,
high
right now,
fantasy stuff that was Lord of the Rings, and it fit the tone of D&D perfectly.
Yeah, that's a good point. So regarding the Dynamite stuff, I'm actually gonna be talking about that in part 3. And there's some things that might be interesting. Like I go deeper into the relationship between Ethan and Dynamite. Like some things that people didn't consider, like that actually adds an extra layer into the whole Dynamite stuff. But yeah, it's going to go into that. Time to let it go, move forward. Yeah, you let go and move forward, but we also want to preserve the history too, because there are lessons to be learned. With the underground comics movement, the alternative comics movement, and of course Comicsgate. So these things have to be preserved for future artists and storytellers, and you take whatever lessons you can from it. You don't want to live in a perpetual state of anger, but you also don't want to forget things that have happened and how to learn and move forward from it. Let's see, scroll down more to the chat. Let's see here. Oh yeah, Phil and Son was talking about the drones in New Jersey. That's becoming a thing now, the drones in New Jersey. Have you heard about that, Helmut?
Kind of, yeah. I saw some snippets on Twitter.
Yeah. So let me scroll down more a little bit. I'm skipping some people in the chat. I want to try to be more up to date with the chat. Phil and Thomas, they're not drones, just me with no. I'm not reading that. I'm not reading that. Oh, Mike Mills says he's met Larry.
Whoa, you're a glad guy, Mike. I love Larry Elmore.
Let me just scroll down here. Let's see, scroll down here. Barry Man says he talks about Matt Groening's Life in Hell is a comic strip in his college newspaper. Yeah, college newspapers are great vehicles for independent artists to kind of like get their break in. College newspapers, a lot of publications that are smaller, but they have rooms for exposure for independent artists. Those things are still around, so you can utilize those. The internet is a great tool, but don't forget the other avenues that exist. There are shops that will carry your stuff. Even the Comic Cons. I just came up with Comic Con last week, and comic conventions are still there. Like you could still put, if you have enough volumes of work, people will be interested to talk to you. And for every 5 people that will talk to you, you may get that one person that will buy from you. So you gotta just kind of enhance your people skills, your customer service skills. And yes, comic selling is a customer service thing. You gotta be kind to people. You gotta learn to talk to people, and even if you don't get the idea that they want to buy from you, but if they're talking to you, just talk to them. Just converse with them. It's a good skill to have because a lot of people don't understand. A lot of creators don't understand that you're not just creating a book and it's just gonna sit there and sell itself. You gotta talk to people and get them interested in you so that they can invest in you. Story time with friends. That's our good friend Edwin Boyette. Ecclesiastes is undefeated. The thing that had been, it is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done, and there is no new thing under the sun. That is a tried and true statement. And just when we think that we've come up with a new thing, no, it's been done before. And we have to kind of get away from this prideful thinking that, oh, this is something new that we're doing. No, it's been done before, and you could be in danger of repeating the same mistakes if you don't learn the lessons from it in the past. So it's always important to, learn from history. Because if we're gonna bury history and not pick up the phone when it's ringing when I'm doing a stream, I'm just joking. But if we don't learn from history and instead bury it, we're gonna repeat it. So that's my take on that. Good marketing, says Barry. Yes, good marketing, absolutely. I think other countries, says Guidance Room, are doing whatever they want with. Oh, we're getting to politics here. I have my thoughts on those drones, but that's not the stream for it here. It's not the stream for it. Phil and someone says my attitude is very whatever about it. What are we gonna do? Nothing. Us average folk can't just go on with our daily lives. See, I'm talking comics, and you guys are talking politics in my stream. Listen, you can't disrespect me like that. You cannot disrespect me. Because if you do disrespect me, then I'm just going to just end the stream, and you guys can go watch Roll Red instead. Oh, by the way, speaking of Roll Red, I'm going to be on the stream tonight. I'm going to be reviewing Phenomenova by Von Coleman.
Ooh.
Yeah, so that's going to be an interesting stream. So you guys want to stick around for that as we review that book. And I understand my place as a creator, so when I'm asked to review a book, I keep in mind I'm very self-aware as a creator, so it's not about making anybody look bad. It's about, if the book is good, I'll explain why. If I think it's not good, I'll explain why. But I keep in mind that I'm coming from the point of view of somebody who's a comic book fan, and how the book can improve so that the creator can, when they do their next book, they can take the lessons and do a better second book if it gets to that point. So, as it was taught to me, people have given me critique about my first book, and I took the lessons of that and try to make what I believe is a better second book. So, but yeah, there was a lot of networking in the underground comics movement. So there wasn't anything that you would consider to be toxic. Although the lifestyles of each of these creators, you could say, was very degenerate for some of them. For some of them, like,
don't you think it's funny that those guys didn't have the internet, didn't have mobile phones, and managed to have a better get together than now the guys?
Not only that, but they kept the degeneracy kind of to themselves, even though like it was talked about in the circles. Like, for example, with Vaughn Bodie, great artist, good storyteller, but he had a very degenerate lifestyle. But you wouldn't know it by reading his books. So this was something that you could say was a good thing. That they had a balance between putting their books out versus putting themselves out there.
I mean,
and as you mentioned, the internet was
a mistake.
As much as so it was not a detriment to them back then because it wasn't around.
The thing is every artist has its own degeneracy or problems or difficult upbringing. It's part of the game. Even
Mhm.
guys like Ernest Hemingway, who was a heavy drinker and killed himself at the end, or a Stephen King, who did his best work on coke and other drugs.
Yeah, that brings up another conversation regarding uh being under the influence and creating artwork, if whether or not you need it. But very quickly, Master Panda says, "I want to see your take on Panorama Nova. I was kind of interested when funding it, but I didn't pull the trigger on that. I'm curious to see those interiors. I'll talk about that on stream tonight, so tune in for that for Well Read stream tonight. So if you guys are interested, head over to Well Read after I end my stream as we go into the review of that, and it'll be a fun conversation. So if you just want to chill and have a conversation about a specific book and what stuff, tune in for that. Tune in for that. I try to be very fair and I try to be very what do you call it? Productive when I give my review on things. So,
Don't
so
you
I'm just
think?
eating my dinner.
Guten Appetit, mein Freund. Don't you think that a good artist, or what makes a good artist, is an artist who uses his flaws and his maybe dark patches in his own biography to fuel his creativity?
Ooh, that's a good question. Oh, that's a great question. I will answer that for you, my friend. Regarding flaws, I think artists should embrace their flaws when it comes to their artwork. I don't know about you, dude, but I think it's kind of gay that on Twitter people nitpick a specific comic book's art style, or they look at, oh, that thing looks like it has 6 fingers when it doesn't, or it's not drawn well. And I'm like, the average normie doesn't care about that, right? They just, when they pick up a comic book, they just want to be entertained by it. And I think there's a lot of fun conversations about comic books when it comes to their flaws and whether or not it was drawn a certain way or if it should be drawn that way. So I'm all for a comic book's artwork embracing the flaws of that specific artist, because we're humans. Our hands do not create perfection. When we think it does, it doesn't. So we're naturally going to produce flawed products with our hands. Comics are no different. Artwork is no different. When you think something is perfect, it's not, because you will find something about it that's flawed. It's just human nature. For human hands, a flawed set of hands to create something that's flawed. And I think the flaw in a specific piece of art can be something beautiful. It can be something that makes it unique. So I don't get all crazy and nitpicky about, oh, that thing has two sets of fingers that where it shouldn't be, or like all 3D assets. And it's like, look, is the overall product good or not? That's what I look into. You know.
The thing
So
is, I think not even the guys who criticize this kind of stuff uh, give a fuck about that. It's only to attack certain creators and use that as a weapon against them. But in the end, it's not even important to them, if that makes sense.
it does. And the thing is, we didn't see this in the underground comics movement. There's no record of Art Crumb attacking Gilbert Shelton's art style or Spain Rodriguez saying that Art Crumb style was shit. We don't hear about any of that recorded. None of that was ever part of the conversation during this specific movement, the underground comics movement. It was they produced their work and they let the market determine if their stuff had merit. And as we all know, and I talked about this a lot, Roy Thomas, the former editor in chief of Marvel, a legend in his own right, by the way, he himself said, and I trigger a lot of people on Twitter with this, that it's not the artist that determines if their stuff is good. It's the people, the market determines it. The market determines if your book, if you're a creator, if your book is artistic or not. You can like your stuff, you can create what you think is your best work, but ultimately the market is going to determine if your book has legacy or if your book is a good piece of artwork.
It doesn't even have to be the success in the current time. Look at at H.P. Lovecraft and Robert E. Howard. They didn't have success in their time when they released their stuff. It's always posthumous. After they died, they gained some traction, and in the 80s they were pretty big, both of them. with Robert E. Howard with Conan and Carl, and Lovecraft with his whole Cthulhu mythos.
I'm so glad you said that because I often tell people, like, I'm not looking at making millions of dollars right now with my book, Beast Citizen Road Warrior Drake, which is the sequel to Street Champion Road Warrior Drake. And I know I'm showing for a second, but this is going to tie into Helmet's point. I'm looking to have fun. Okay, I produce my books to have, and by the way, this is the Second Chance campaign. So I made like over $4,000 with this book, but I'm looking at the long term, and to connect to Helmut's point is, to me, I'm looking at something long term. So I'm not looking for instant gratification. I'm not looking for instant success. I'm looking for a return on my investment down the road. This could take 5 years, 10 years, whatever. But I'm in this for the long haul, and I want to produce something that's gonna, at some point, build. I want to build product. I want to build success. I want to build something, and it's not gonna happen overnight. So people looking at it long term, we're not looking at it long term. It's like you're either in this for the long term or you're not. Like, you can't expect the market to just overnight say, hey, your stuff is good. So it doesn't work that way. And then when people don't get that reaction, or they don't get that feedback or that response, they quit. And it's like, well, that was all for nothing. That really was all for nothing. So you could tell the error subjective. It was a subjective error enforcement or whatever it was. It was a flaw, and not a big deal. What's funny is that most of these overcritical guys who pick apart every last panel go on to do their own comics, which end up looking just as bad, if not worse. Isn't that the most ironic thing, Master Panda? Is a lot of the critics that criticize these books come out with stuff that is just as bad, if not worse. Because I would argue it's worse because there's no heart in it. There's no heart in what they're producing. So that's what I would argue. Arkham is still living at age 81. Yeah, he's still alive. He looks definitely different from what he did in the documentary. But yeah, he's still kicking. He's still out there. He's still doing his stuff, not on a mass scale, but he's still doing his stuff. So, which is why if you roll out buildings when you draw, they feel unnatural. That's why I'm a big fan of Will Eisner's backgrounds, because Will Eisner when he does his buildings, you can tell he doesn't use a ruler. He still uses perspective, but he's not tying himself down to a ruler and doing straight lines. He gives his buildings character. And I think I showed some of this when I was reviewing which guy was it? I think it was Hapatu. When I did my stream on Hapatu, and I was going over his cross hatching, and I tied it into Will Eisner's backgrounds. Will Eisner has made his background separate characters onto themselves. He's inspired me to make drawing background buildings and all that stuff fun, because you're not just being an architect. You're not just doing blueprints for some building. You're actually creating a character in the form of buildings. So
it always depends on the genre you are in. For example, Hal Foster, who did Prince Valiant, a medieval book about the Knights of the Round, and you must have those beautiful backgrounds with the castles and the moats and stuff like that. But that's the niche in which it's in. It's not for every genre in the comic scene.
Master Panda says, a last matter of fact, director Uwe Boll refers to himself as a genius, but the overall majority of people who have seen his films think they're dog shit. Yeah, the market has spoken. But and the thing is this, like, Uwe Boll's movies, they're not like enjoyably bad. They're just bad. Like, Ed Wood is enjoyably bad. And he was rejected by his community at the time because his films were not marketable because they were poorly made. But over the years, people have come to realize that Ed Wood's passion was visible in his movies. That's why he has a following now, even though he's kind of dead. But yeah, if you're a creator or an artist, don't get into this, oh, my stuff is beautifully produced artwork. Like, you can like your stuff, but don't force that on the market. The market will have to tell you if your stuff is artistic and deserves legacy or not. And wouldn't you know, I got into trouble by some creators on Twitter for saying that. I've triggered some people when I show them the Roy Thomas quote. I trigger some creators on Twitter. It's like, dude, like, your stuff can be the second coming of freaking Kingdom Come. If the market doesn't think so, it doesn't matter what you think, because you're making a book to sell to the market. So the market has to give you purpose. It has to give you reason to believe that your stuff is worthy of legacy and art. So I'm swallowing my food for a second. Vendetta says Felsbug. Beef or vendetta. So let's see. Okay, Kanye got a pass for that he went too crazy. I think a lot of Kanye's craziness is due to the fact that he's seeing some shit that we're not seeing, and I think it's all coming out now. It's all coming out. Maybe Kanye will be vindicated. Who knows? Exactly, Colin. Roy Thomas being correct again and again and again. He's undefeated. And I even heard it from this week from another stream from a certain big time creator who kind of got a little huffy when he was told that the people decide what books are good and what isn't. The creators, and I'm not trying to be gaslighting. This is legit. If you're creating a book, you might like it. You may think it's the best thing you ever produced, and that's fine. And you may have a peer of creators that may tell you the same thing. But at the end of the day, it's the market that's going to determine if your book is artistic or not. And the best example that I can give of that is One. My first Outliers stream was One from One Punch Man. And he was a member of a community of mangaka who told him his art style was shit. And he said, no, you're not going to be good. You're not going to succeed. But did he listen? No, he didn't listen. He went and made his comics, and he gained millions of followers on Japanese webtoon. And he's told the story. He didn't make money off it because he wasn't allowed to, I guess, because his peers told him not to get into it. He had to get a regular job to pay his bills. And it wasn't until Murata came aboard that's when he started to make money off the manga. And Murata redrew his old stuff, but One is still making original pages for One Punch Man. And I showed it in one of the live streams. So he's still producing. He's still making his comics. And he's still, his style has improved a lot, but you could tell it's his style. He has a very rough, rugged style that is it's unique. But I will argue that his design work is excellent. You may not like his line work, but his design is excellent. The storytelling is powerful in One's artwork. How often does a Lasmat call himself a genius? I don't call myself a genius. Well, and what if I did? Wait, what if I did? What's wrong with that? Why do you people gaslight me? It's not right. It's really not right. But it's not right, man. Like, I'm trying to be a member of this community, and these people pick on me.
Like I said, I think they still love you, but they give you tough love.
No, I think confusing love with a very unhealthy parasocial relationship. Colin says, I think it can be good to get a critique on art style, but some people give bad advice or don't know what they're talking about. Yeah, and as a creator, Colin, you kind of have to vet them too. Like, first of all, you got to find out if they're coming from a place of good faith. For example, like Dick Masterson does not come from a place of good faith, so nobody should take his advice on anything when it comes to comics. But it doesn't mean that someone's critiquing your stuff. It doesn't mean they're not coming from a place of good faith. Like, if they're telling you what specifically is wrong and how to fix it, that's a good piece of criticism. Like, but if their whole thing is you're shit and you're never going to be good, you shouldn't be doing it, then no, you don't have to pay that critic any kind of credence. But adhere to everything they're saying and then just pick from there. So, wait, you're saying that Aladdin lies? Lying about what? Somebody ban these people now. Start hiding people, timing people out. Let's go. Oh, you know what? You know what, Felsbug, you're right. I should bring you into my DM group because Carol Colors and Guy in his room, these people harass me every day. I brought Chris Stanley in, and he's joining in. Well, he's not joining in, but he's not doing anything to help. He's laughing and encouraging their bad behavior. So I need some support in that group, Felsbug. So I'll bring you in because I need some support.
You can let me in. I totally support you.
You're right, Helmet. I should bring you in too. So yeah, I'm gonna bring Helmet in too. So I'm gonna bring Felsbug and Helmet in because Guy in his room and Carol Colors both need to be put in your place. I deserve to be supported in my own DM group. Wait, what now? Look, don't you dare bring in unsolicited people. I don't allow it. And you're charging people? You're making money off my group? I'm the creator. I should be making money on that group, not you. You see what's going on, right? You see the gay up that's happening live on stream right now. You see it, Helmet.
They want to
Finally,
help you market your stuff. More people, more eyes on your product.
They're harassing me, though. They're attacking me. You don't see it?
That doesn't matter. Good. Any publicity is good publicity.
Well, speaking of which, Barry Miller says EC Comics was controversial way back. Yeah, EC Comics was the reason I think why the Comics Code Authority came to be. And by the way, I've been collecting the Dark Horse reissues, and I got like the one of the hardcovers for the Tales from the Crypt. Which let me see if I can show it without the camera fizzing on me. This is from the Dark Horse reissues, and it's a beautiful hardcover. There, now I'm going to take my camera back off because it does that every time I show myself on camera. But yeah, I definitely recommend getting the Tales from the Crypt, the Haunt of Fear, the Bolt of Horror. I've been stocking up on those because once I'm done with my book, I'm going to start reading a lot of books that I'm behind on. So Colin says, I lie too. Yes, but I like you, so don't. Just don't. Wait, what is this? What the hell is that?
Snowflakes?
I want Bear banned. Ban him. He's bringing hate to my chat. Speaking of hate, Colin says he hates the D word, and he also hates this stream. Well, Colin, I will never see you again. Enjoy your time in limbo. I will never see you again. Oh, look who's back again. Oh, you heard your name. Of course you do. What are you, Liam Gray? You have your alerts to your name now? Is that what it is? I told people that, Carol, that you are a harasser to my DM group. You don't promote my stuff. You just wake up. I wake up in the morning and I see hatred in my DM group. Well, guess what? I'm bringing Felsbug and Helmut in, and I'm going to offset your hatred. So now we're going to have balance in my DM group, and I'm going to have promotion again. Because I need promotion. And I will ban all four of you, JD. All four of you. Yeah, flip that table, Carol. Flip it. But guess what? Justice is coming for me, and I'm going to be vindicated. Link says, I'm taking his anger over reading Phenomenova Honors because he has to go on Low Reds. So what? Deal with it. Long-term fan of Mad Magazine. Mad Magazine's, we've talked about Mad Magazine a lot in your streams. A lot of the underground comics artists went to work on Mad Magazine, and some of the alternative underground also worked there as well. I don't hate anybody, guy. See, you want to stoke the seeds of hatred and racism. Oh, look. Oh, okay. You gotta go listen to Matt C. Okay, fine. Go listen to Matt C and fall asleep. I don't care. You know what? Fine. Be that way. I don't care. I was talking about hating ducks, and he made me say the D word. Damn it. He made me say the D word. So one day you share my link, just for one day, and I'm supposed to forget all the other days where you ignored me and didn't promote me, and instead chose those days to send your one-liners against me to try to bring my spirits down and suppress me. Well, no, Carol. It's going to take more than one day to do that, to undo that. I don't censor people, Bear. I just protect myself because no one else is going to protect me. I have no advocates. I had to protect me. Metal Herline, a.k.a. Heavy Metal, says, Barry Merritt, the one you put in the group? What are you talking about? Oh, yeah, that one? So shut my what? You see this? You see this, Helmut? You see this? This is the tame version of what I get in the DM groups.
It's just banter.
Shouldn't be allowed, though.
You must relax a little bit, my peanut-headed friend. It's Christmas.
You're right, it is Christmas. Here's a Christmas gift for you.
German sips with a grin so wide. Pogs on the table can't hide his pride. Creator in the corner starts to glare. Madness sparks and hate fills the air. Stack 'em high, a tower of luck. Germans winning, it feels like pluck. Alice Matt's fury, a brewing storm. Visions of pogs in every form. spinning, tables turning. Alice Matt's eyes with fierce fire burning. German's laughter echoes loud in a world that's pug-bound proud. Matt sees and he's mad insane. Eyes on fire, can't take the strain. Pogs and pieces drive him to pain. His patience snapping like an old chain. And he's mad insane. Eyes on fire, can't take the strain. Pogs and pieces drive him to pain. His patience snapping like an old chain. Das nie gewinnen, enden Mann. Das nie gewinnen, enden Mann. Alas, mud fumes can't take no more. Pogs and slammers hit the floor. It's not about the game you see. It's about what fun could be. Das nie gewinnen, enden Mann. Das nie gewinnen, enden Mann. Das nie gewinnen, enden Mann. Das nie gewinnen, enden Mann.
You see, Helmet, I played that song and I lost 3 viewers. Pods are not welcome by people.
That song is a beautiful testament to our friendship.
It just killed my channel.
But Pogs are cool.
It killed my channel.
I don't care. Pogs are cool.
I know you don't care. See, look. Guy assumes that they made you older than Chuck Dixon and Art.
I am old.
So I guess that's supposed to be me, Bear. This was a prime, by the way. This is prime of the Prime, the EIN Fact Circle. He made this video and the song. So this is a prime original. Barry Merritt was reminding us that he's still here. Hello, Barry. Thanks for being here. Helmet, the senior citizen. I try. What's up?
I'm old.
See, it's funny is that when I befriend somebody online and they're behind an avatar, I kind of don't want to know what they look like in reality. So like I envision them as that avatar. So,
but
I'm
you
okay
know how I look in reality.
No, I have not seen it.
You were in the Discord server when I posted the picture.
No, I'm in Prime Sword. I didn't see it.
Okay, I sent you one.
What now?
Do you want to?
No, don't, please, God, no, don't. I don't want that evil palmy. No, don't fill my DMs with that. No.
You saw the picture. That's what it was when I told you guys that I'm not even full-blooded German and that my father is from Italy.
I'm telling you, I remember when you were talking about that, but you didn't show me. You showed Iron Prime. You didn't show me.
I show you. I promise.
JV says, "Sees nonsense in Duck Ombre." What does that mean?
They called him Duck Ombre.
Oh, so in other words, it's racism. Okay. So that was a color scheme that was not accurate. Okay, I'm colored. I'm always colored. Bassel says there is a Pog song without chorus saying something about slammers. I didn't pay attention to the lyrics. Did you?
There is talk about slammers at the end of the song.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. See, it happened. It absolutely happened. More artwork from the underground comics movement at the time. This is also more art crumb stuff. But yeah, if you want to check out some of the artists that were part of this movement, I've already covered a few of them. Gilbert Shelton, was one of them. Although Gary Panther's credit as being more of the alternative scene, but he's he was bred from that movement as well. So Von Bodie is another one I reviewed and talked about. So yeah, so there's and there are quite a few that I will be doing more streams on later down the road, because I think there's a lot of artists that need to be explored and rediscovered. Like I said, there's a danger of a lot of these pieces of artwork not being reprinted and getting lost in time. So get those Von Bodie books, because they're not going to be reprinted again. So it seems like you think I'm joking. I think, and we covered this in the stream last time when I was doing Bodie. But let's go to eBay for a second so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. Type in a Von Bodie on eBay and let's see what these go for. So let's see. Von Bodie. And yeah, okay, see. Let's see here. And I'm not even talking about like the fanzines that feature pieces of his art. I'm talking about whole books, whole stories drawn by Bodie himself. So let's see. So here's a tab right here. So you got his first edition of his Dead Bone Erotica. This is one of the fanzines he did. So you got a first edition at $60, or best offer, as they say, but you got to pay $6 in shipping. I'm not looking at the individual pieces of work. I'm just looking at collections. Here's a print fanzine that features some of Bodie's stuff, but it's a fanzine, it's not actual stories. Let's see here. Here's a Bodie Broads portfolio, Von Bodie, bag of $40 for this. Right. You get Junk Waffle number 2. Junk Waffle is another one of his fanzines. Well, not fanzines. It's like a magazine that he did with collections of his stuff. I think Junk Waffle number 1 is what's rare, and I think I covered it. Look at it. Okay, so the Teach Wizard stuff. See, look, you got $100 for his Teach Wizard stuff. Collect Teach Wizard, $50 for this one. This was for publication from 1972. This is $50. Well, they're selling it for $50, but you'll probably get it for cheaper. But I'm telling you, these are not cheap by any stretch of the imagination. You're gonna have to shell out quite a bit of money for these. But his artwork is good, so and they're in danger of not being reprinted. So get them while you can. You know. Wait, a veteran's gonna put a lasmat in a chokehold soon on a subway. It's dangerous for pox. Yeah, you know what? That's why I avoid subways, because I don't want to be in the chokehold. I'm rare. You guys have to protect me, because I'm a rare figure in this field. That's a reference to the other Berkman song mixed with the German title of an old Western. Aha. Aha. There. Yeah, I talked a little bit about that on my Von Bodie stream. That's what got me to buy that issue that I just showed you guys. That particular issue cost me, what it was, like 15, 30 bucks, I think it was. And it was floppy sized. That's how expensive his stuff is. So, activity in my house continues on. Lady Shabbat wants to remind me that my gay dog is dragging things out of the trash. Pretty sure they drug a copy of my D book out there.
Even your dogs hate you.
Link says my dogs are out of control. Maybe it's not my DM group. Maybe it's just society that hates me. Maybe everybody is wrong, and I'm right.
You're a social pariah.
No, I'm just misunderstood. I'm a POC, so they hate the POCs, and I have to fight for righteousness and civil rights. So it's everybody else that needs to be put in their place and needs to be, not doing bad things. They shouldn't do bad things. Am I right? I think I'm right.
Hey, I'm not a racist.
I want to believe that, Helmut, but you're not defending me against the hate mongers. You're letting them come at me and trying to devour me. It's not right. Barry says he's doing fine though, so he's doing quite excellent. See, I have balance because of Barry. I thought you would be the balance, Helmut, but no, I have balance. Ironically, I have balance in the chat. It's wonderful. Yes, I'm doing a little shilling, but again, this ties into our conversation because my stuff is inspired It's inspired more by the 80s alternative comics movement than it is the underground comics movement. But you can see elements of the 60s and 70s in my stuff. So that's why I do what I do. And there was a misunderstanding of what I'm doing a few years ago when I jumped onto the scene, and people didn't get what I was trying to do. So I felt that it was upon me to talk more about it and to share this. And the more I talk about it and the more I share about each individual artist, the more people are like, oh, I see what you're doing with Road Warrior Drake. Yeah, I'm kind of interested. And I made some sales because of that, because I've mastered the pitching part of of the spirit of the underground movement and later the alternative movement. So you expect us to look up the link for this campaign? No, see, I expected the mods to actually post a link in the chat. I'm guessing that I should have learned by now that doesn't happen. I have mods, but it's beneath them. It's absolutely beneath them to post my links in the chat, just like my DM group. It's beneath people in my DM group to actually promote me. There, I did it. See, there's the link right there. Because nobody respects me. And on that note, I'm going to end the stream and end my life. So you have anything else you want to say, Helmut, before I end everything?
Yeah, I wanted to show the stuff that I got from Weißblech Comics.
Oh, that's right. Yes, you have some purchases, right? Let me
Yeah,
open it
I
up
did.
right here. Hold on. So this goes into what I talked about, like back when I was talking about the Weißblech comics, Levin Curio, or
Yep.
no, it was on Bright Shoe, right? Bright Shoe.
Both of them. Levin Curio is the owner of Weißblech Comics, and Eckhard
Right.
Breitschuh is the main comic guy for them.
Yes, and that's Luba Wolfschwanz on right here. I talked a little about Luba. Unfortunately, these comics aren't available in English, but I think Helmut, you may mention that if we were to email the owner, they could do something about that, or
Maybe, yeah. They are very good
But
in communication.
yeah. But I talked about like the Eckhard Breitschuh and Luba Wolfschwanz, and very visually enjoyable books. And I don't mean visually enjoyable in terms of the fact that she's like half naked, but I mean the art style. It's very colorful. It's very visceral. So you could tell these were definitely fun books.
That's what you see here. Everything. The whole stuff that I photographed. I got for 35 euros.
Wow, that's awesome. Look at that. 35 euros gets you all this beautiful goodness. Look at that.
Yeah. The comics I paid for. The calendar was for free and arrived in time. And I got the postcards and the other stuff for free. And I didn't pay shipping costs. That was for free.
Mazda Panda just asked a very good question, and I have an answer to that. He asked, what happens if a kid at a con comes to your table and sees an anthropomorphic animal character, but it has drug dealers, violence, and big blue women? Do parents cause trouble? Excellent question. So I had that dilemma a few cons ago because I realized that my comic is like a 12 and over comic. So like if a 10-year-old young comes and checks it out, like I wouldn't in good conscience sell to them because of some of the themes in there. So I decided, you know what? I have a coloring book with the character. I should be selling that. So I made some copies of the coloring book that I put at the last con I was at. Here's the coloring book right here. And I was able to pitch this to the kids because it's friendly. It's a coloring book. It's got a story and it's got some activities in it. So that it keeps them busy. So it's important to have something for the kids if you're a comic creator at a con. Because cons are more geared towards the families. So yeah, you'll have some books that are like adult themed, but if you have them for the kids, you don't have a way to get the adults interested. So I learned that lesson. So when I had the coloring books at the last con, I had my most financially successful day at a con ever. I sold 5 books that day. So
that's good.
I did pretty good money wise that day.
I think you were. Oh,
go ahead.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I think you would be a perfect fit for the German underground movement because everything what you see here on the picture is German underground comic, and you would fit right into that.
Yeah, I See, with Road Warrior Drake, I can see it being translated in Japanese, and I look at this, I'm like, yeah, that book could definitely be translated in German, and it could. I see potential for it. I really do, for an international market. But that's going to come in time. I think Road Warrior Drake has to kind of like make some kind of significant movement either here in the States or elsewhere, like
Mm.
UK or maybe even Australia, before it goes into like countries like Germany or even Japan.
I would say if you ever intend to release your stuff in Germany, talk to Vice Splash Comics.
That's not a bad idea. You know, after I do Beast Scissor or Road Drake, I might do that. I just might do that. Barry Mass, Dr. Seuss did some spicy art. Oh yeah, absolutely. I think I remember that too. Dr. Seuss, yeah, he was on something. So he didn't just do kids comics. No, not comics, storybooks. But yeah, he did some pretty fascinating artwork. I probably should cover it one day in the stream when I get to that. But I think we're gonna call the stream because I have to get ready for the Walmart stream. But do you have anything you want to add, Helmut, before we call it a stream?
I wish you guys a good Christmas time. Enjoy the time with the family. Stay healthy. And it was a pleasure as always.
Yes, Merry Christmas, and it's not too early to say it. Absolutely, Merry Christmas to all those in the chat. And Master Panda says, imagine a movement that emphasizes respecting a customer, taking 4 years to give you the shit you paid for. Ha ha.
Yeah,
That
massive panda. That's why I only buy German stuff because they respect me and I get value for my buck.
I'm not gonna lie. I wish this stuff was available here. I really do. Like that is some awesome, some dope looking art. So, but Barry enjoyed the stream, and I appreciate you, Barry. And hopefully you'll come around for the next stream next week. We may go over the alternative underground movement from the '80s. So I think we've covered a little bit here in the stream today on the underground comics movement. And for those of you that are still here that have not declared TND on me, thank you for stopping by. And you know how we do it. I leave you with the outro, the best outro on a YouTube stream. Take care.